Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Mindset Elevation Coach, Linda Joy, also publisher of the beloved Aspire magazine. Can you believe Aspire is celebrating 20 years of inspiring women around the world to live deeper, more authentic, and inspired lives? You can get your free subscription at subscribetoaspire.com. So, we talk about so many topics here, but a big one is about energy and intention. And I am so excited to have Joan Ranquet with me today because what I've learned, we've been following each other for years, but what I've learned through her is just like humans, animals have chakras. They have subtle energy centers that affect their emotional, physical, and behavioral health. We're going to be talking about that and so much more. Joan is an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and educator with over 33 years of experience helping people understand and heal their animals. Her practical approach to animal communication and energy healing supports behavioral and medical issues, complements veterinary care, and strengthens the bond between animals and their guardians. She truly believes that animal communication is an innate ability everyone can access. Joan, I'm so excited that you're here today, my friend.
Me too. And I've been following you for years, so this is a great meeting of the minds.
Yes, it is. I always love to start my conversations with, I always am so interested of what led a woman to the path that in the life they're living now. So my curiosity is, were you always so connected to animals even as a young child, or was it something that was developed?
Well, my first word was horse. It wasn't mom or dad, so I think that gives
Says
you
it
a
all.
little exactly. And yeah, I was always really connected. But I wouldn't say that I knew I communicated with animals. That came much later. But yeah, I mean, I won my first horse at 7. I mean, talk about setting an intention in a raffle. And it it just it was it just snowballed from there. And I was always very calm around animals, which led animals to whether they like me or not is I don't care, but they felt safe, and that I started to notice that as a kid. And people would have me help them with like giving their horse a shot or things like that. Just weird little things that I guess not everybody did. And I knew stuff, but I didn't know that I knew it. So it's I think that yes, I was very connected, but I didn't know I communicated. I'll just say that.
I love that your first word was horse. That tells us a lot right there, my friend.
Yeah.
And so when did you really open up to the animal communication part?
Well, and I don't always preface it with this, but I was in the theater and lived in New York, and my sister had a brain tumor. So I had to move back to Seattle briefly, and it ended up being a while as she was sick and then died. And I chose to move to LA instead of New York. And I remember bringing all my horse equipment with me, thinking I'm going to get a horse. And I ended up getting a horse. And um, and literally in 1988, I was using an animal communicator because it was just the coolest thing on the planet. And I had loved what I was doing. I was always in a play or, auditioning for the film business and was writing I loved my creative life, but I was so blown away that this woman could talk to animals, and she kept saying, "It's a skill. You can do it. You're already doing it." And anyway, cut to I had that horse who was my absolute soulmate. I lost her. I ended up with another horse that I didn't get along that well with. So I was trying to, and she had this mysterious lameness, like her front left leg was just kind of off. So I thought I would call that animal communicator again, and I could not find her phone number. And so the next thing, literally the next day, and this is how my life works: when one door shuts, the other door opens. Um, and I found a flyer for an animal communication class with another animal communicator. So I ended up taking that class, and this was early 90s, like really early 90s. And I was already taking a lot of energy classes. I was learning, like, in 1990, I took the Barbara Brennan class. I took a lot of hands-on energy classes. So I was trying to apply that to the horses. And anyway, just once I took that animal communication class, I thought I was doing it for me, but that was it. I was on a path, and there was no stopping it.
I think when we're meant to do something, everything aligns to keep us on that path. That's how my life's been. Don't you love when it's almost it's like we're organically led to our soul's purpose?
100%. And I fought it. I mean, I was really invested in being, in the film business, and it kicked me right out.
Well, I believe that my personal belief is we're always being guided, and sometimes we try to follow a path that's not meant for us. And when we don't listen to all the signs, the universe slams the door, right? I've been there, my friend, like you.
Yeah, mine was like an anvil.
Yeah, I've been there. I call those cosmic two by fours.
Yeah,
It's like brings you to your knees. And now I tell my clients, I go, stop listening when it's the soul's whispers so you never get a cosmic two by four, because I was a slow learner.
I was too.
Yeah, I always, well, for some reason, I was a glutton for punishment. I waited for the cosmic two by fours. Now I'm like, okay, I'm listening. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have a new book out, Animal Chakra Healing. So let's talk a little bit about that before we go to the first break, because it's such a beautiful book. And I'm so excited because you're bringing this information, and I know you've written other books too, to even more people. So tell us what they can expect when they grab a copy of Animal Chakra Healing.
Well, I think that first of all, I think chakras are fun, right? It's fun to read about. It's always been like this mysterious thing. So, I think there's an element of fun in the book, and then also some real depth. I feel like you're going to have a better understanding of your animal's mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And then on top of it all, you're just going to feel that much more connected to your own animal. Or even if you don't have an animal right now because you lost someone or you live in an apartment, you're just never not going to see the chakras, even on a squirrel. So I think it's going to help you feel more connected to animals and nature and all of it and ourselves. Like it's a great kind of journey into ourself too.
It gives us a deeper understanding of them and us, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And us in relationship with them, if we look at even just the first chakra, every single being on this planet, whether you're a blade of grass or a dog in a shelter or somebody living up in the Hollywood Hills, everybody just wants safety. They want a sense of safety and connectedness. And our habit might be chaos, but what we really crave is safety. So when we start to understand that about animals, it makes total sense, everything they do. And when they feel safe, they can really express who they are. But if we're able to create a sense of safety for themselves, even if we don't feel safe, but it gives us a higher purpose to create that for them, then we're really we're starting to spread a certain amount of peace in the world just by helping our animal companion.
Yeah, Dana and myself, we're avid animal lovers. I had my Cocker Spaniel for 16 years. He was my sidekick. I was blessed to have him that long. And Baxter the cat was 22.
Oh,
Yeah, when he passed, and he looked like a baby. But Dana and Baxter, my honey was so energetically and emotionally connected to that cat. He could see nuances and feel them. We're both animal lovers, but Dana has this deep connection with animals, and I swear, he feels their soul.
mm,
Every animal, no matter if he's at a client's house, connects. But I gotta say, when I was younger, I didn't feel the depth of emotion towards animals because I was in my own shit, excuse my language, but
yeah,
it wasn't that I didn't feel it with them. I wasn't present in my own energy, never mind to be able to be there. And then in my 30s and 40s, the depth of love that you can feel with a pet. I mean, it's like a child. They are our children, actually. That's what we always said. I think
yeah.
it was a healing part of my life to bring the pet into my life at the time that I did, because I was able to give the same love that I learned to give myself. So it was almost like the pet was also a mirror for me and where I was emotionally. Have you ever heard anyone share it like that?
Yeah, I have. I always, actually, in my first book, I share about that first horse I had in Los Angeles. She was absolutely my spiritual mirror. And, and I say spiritual because I was, after the death of my sister, I was really trying to understand mindfulness and I was reading everything. But the practical application was I being present? And if I
Yeah.
wasn't, she would do a little buck or do something that would put me right back in the moment. So I was like, okay. So I always said she was my spiritual mirror. And I think animals kind of do that anyway because um, they can be very much in the moment.
And yeah, when you said that word presence, that's exactly what I was trying to express to you. It makes us be in the moment instead
Yeah.
of in our head. So that was beautifully said. We're going to take our first break, and I invite you all to stay tuned for this conversation. I also invite you to visit Joan at joanranquet.com. As always, everything's in the show notes, links over to her site. Learn more about all her books, but especially her new book, Animal Chakra Healing. We'll be back in a moment, my friends.
Coaches and aspiring guides, this is your time to increase your income and help clients experience real soul-aligned breakthroughs. Become a certified Life Purpose Prosperity Soul Guide and learn how to help clients embody their elemental astrological archetypes for heart-aligned success, creating lasting shifts they'll deeply value and happily share. This nature-aligned certification provides you with practical tools to support your client's unique purpose and prosperity pathway, opening up powerful new ways to expand your business and increase your income. Lisa Michaels, creator of the Life Purpose Prosperity Blueprint, with over 30 years of proven results, personally mentors you through this dynamic system, grounding cosmic wisdom in earth-honoring leadership practices. Watch a free masterclass revealing how this sacred strategic work can elevate your offerings and your impact. Visit lisa-michaels.com/soulguide to explore your expansion opportunity today.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. With me today is Joan Ranquet, animal communicator, TEDx speaker, and author of her newest book, Animal Chakra Healing. So let's say someone's listening right now and they're like, animals have chakras too? What would you say to them to help them understand if they've never heard of chakras? How do you explain that to someone that's a newbie to help them understand it?
I like to say that they're like vortexes in the body that are connected to the physical and physiological part of the body that are also connected to the emotional and energetic part of the energy field, and that each of them hold a theme, and those themes help us connect to a deeper understanding about animals from the physical to emotional life to behavior to relationships and dynamics.
Oh, I like that. And in the book, you go through each of the chakras to help them understand it in relation to their pet. So talk a little
Yes.
more about that, right? Like, so they get a kind of an overview of what they can expect in the book.
Yeah, so and I go into depth into the emotions, the energetics, the symbolism, what it means for people, what each of the chakras are species specific. I have a whole fun thing in the heart chakra about what animals have the biggest heart. So there's some fun. I love weird animal facts, but
I do too. My granddaughter is obsessed with them, so you two would hit it off.
that's funny. Yeah, I didn't know that a horsefly could fly faster than anything but a peregrine falcon. But anyway, so the so I go into the organs and the meridians that are connected to each of the chakras. But if just as an overview, I love to say that, for animals, that first chakra is all about safety and security and connectedness to their pack, pride, herd, flock, a family. Now we live in families, right? Like I have 4 horses, 3 dogs, and 3 cats. So it's a big family. So they're all connected through that first chakra. They feel for certain security and safety in numbers. Just like in humans, the first chakra is also connected to our primary family, our family of origin. This is also true for animals. And I also think that karmically, that first chakra is what brings in, if you've incarnated, if you believe in reincarnation, incarnated this time as a dog, it also brings the memory and the DNA of all things dog. So it's very primal. The second chakra is, you know, all about fertility and creativity, like for humans, but when we spay and neuter here in the US, we spay and neuter a lot of the dogs and cats and neuter horses. So they aren't living in their full power sometimes. So it's up to us to really help them, really be in that power. And it's also the second chakra is the one-on-one relationship. So it's very connected to our relationship with them and their relationship with each other. Um, and it can be connected to separation anxiety. The third chakra, like for humans, is very connected to that gut instinct, how we take in the world, how we show up in the world, how much confidence, self-esteem we have. So a lot of times we'll see general anxiety connected to this chakra just because it is um, it is how they feel about themselves and if they feel safe in the world. Those first 3 chakras really hold some of those primary emotions that um, sometimes get in the way of them living their best lives. I'll just say that. And then the fourth chakra is just the big connector between the first 3 chakras and the more divine chakras. But also the big connector between the humans and the animal kingdom. So if you look at like how we even, we come to that shoulder of a horse or a dog or a cat, we almost always reach there. I mean, some people pat on the head, but it seems like that shoulder is that connected, that, it's the armor around their true heart. So it just seems like reaching out to that shoulder is that connection to their heart. And then the throat chakra is just like us, is speaking the word, communication, expression. And for animals, their expression isn't just in their barking and growling and meowing. It also is very much connected to their body language and what they're saying without saying it. And sometimes when they vocalize, they've gotten to the point where it's like, you haven't heard me. Here I am. This is what's going on. And then the sixth chakra, like us, is their intuition and their instinct. And I always say that our superpower is logic and their superpower is instinct, and we need each other um, to make it in this world these days. And so it's also their senses. Animals are so keen with their senses. My dog this morning on a hike saw a coyote miles away. One of my dogs who's got a little bit of sight hound in her. It just blows my mind what they're able to see and hear that takes us a while to focus on. And then that crown chakra is very much, for us, we think of it as the connection to the divine, but it's also very much the connection to their trust in humanity. A lot of animals that have had head injuries or, don't want to be touched up there. It's, a delicate balance of really working toward creating that trust connection. So it's it's very much a necessary connection to their trust, and the first and the seventh chakra are very, very, very in tune with each other. We need safety to be able to trust. We need trust to be able to feel safe. So, and then I say that, like in a lot of chakra or yoga worlds, they say the eighth chakra is the aura. And for me, I take people on wildlife trips in addition to teaching animal communication. And I've watched so many animals in the wild, and their auras are all connected up. And I really believe ours are too. So I always say that the eighth chakra is not just their energy field, but it's the ecosystem that we're all living in together. So that's an overview.
That was so helpful. And, as you were speaking, I was thinking of the different pets I've had. And right now we have an Australian cattle dog mix because our grandson's with us right now. And that dog came from a shelter. Smartest, most loving dog there is, but he has two reactionary things so I was listening to see if I could figure out which one. We don't know if something happened when he was younger, but if you go anywhere, like walk by him when he's on the floor near his back hind legs, he gets very sensitive. He would never bite, but he lets you know. And we finally figured it out. I'm like, I wonder if he was ever hit or kicked. That's what comes through to me, because he's the most loving dog. And the other reaction is he turns into Cujo if he sees another dog. Right. So, of course, we can't let him near. Does anything come through to you for that I could help him with the safety issue around the hind area? Because it's almost like he's afraid someone's going to hurt him. But then, but on the flip side, this dog loves everyone. Like, he has complete trust in every human he meets. Everyone loves him, but you just cannot circle or go near his backside.
Can you touch his hind end?
Yes, like if you're patting him all the way down, you can. It's mostly, I'll give you an example. He lays by the recliner every night. He loves my honey. And if, when you put your recliner up, the chair moves. He can feel the chair starting to move near his hind. He goes crazy. He jumps up and he looks at Papa like, you touched my hind leg. If you walk by him, it's the hind, but I can touch it. We can put clothes on, not clothes, the walking vest that he wears.
Yeah.
He lets us do all that. It's more when he's on the floor feeling really vulnerable, I think. You can go and touch his front legs, you can do all that, but he does not like if you approach his hind quarter.
How old is he?
And they were pretty confident, so it's 3 years old. He's 3.
Because my sense is that there's whatever happened to him, it definitely did a little mini kind of maybe twist in the spine, which is right, I would say at the sacrum. And I think that right leg, does he lay on his right leg?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's protecting that right leg. And I feel like if there's any chance you could do a chiropractor, I think that would really help, because I feel like you want to get that kind of some relief there. So I feel like I wouldn't say that it's painful now, but he's had discomfort, and my sense is he may have gotten attacked by another dog, something, and they got him in the hind end, and there's no way he's going to, and I'm not saying that something didn't happen with a human, but to me, since he's so trusting of you, of people, I would guess that what happened was with a dog. And so what I love to have people do is to really stroke from the top of the head all the way to the end of the tail. And then if you can, down the hind legs, and just a soft stroke, because the bladder meridian is, it parallels the spine, and it really has a connection to all the other, called association points with all the other meridians. So it's, when I was talking about the first three chakras, a lot of times if somebody's in fight or flight, they kind of leave their body. So what you're doing is saying, because when he goes into Cujo, his hind end doesn't exist. He's just all bark, right?
Oh,
So,
yes.
so when you're stroking all the way to the end of the tail, you're saying, I'm in my whole body. And when I'm in my whole body, I can make different choices. And massaging those hind legs, if that's at all possible, is going to bring in, it's like if you were to think that the tension of the Cujo is living in those muscles, and if you could soften those muscles, that's kind of the intention, that you want to soften the muscles, soften the experience. And I think also, I feel like if just, yeah, I mean, I think literally the other thing would be, my third book was on EFT for animals. And that would be certainly a fun session to work with him on that.
Yeah,
So
that's so helpful. It gives me a starting point. And
yeah,
I'm going to share this with my grandson too in your book. And we're going to take our next break. When we come back, I want to hear some of the amazing stories you have of animals that have been transformed through this work. I love hearing stories like that. So we'll be back in a moment, my friends. I'm with Joan Ranquet. You can learn more at joanranquet.com. All the links are down below. And grab a copy of Animal Chakra Healing. We'll be right back.
Did you know that coloring can be a beautiful way to create your own divine reset? The Stress Relief Meditation Mandala Adult Coloring Book for Women is your gateway to tranquility and calm. Intentionally crafted to help you relax, unwind, and embrace meditative mindfulness. Mandalas are powerful symbols of unity, balance, and wholeness. Coloring them is a soulful creative practice. Lisa Hermata, spiritual life guide, founder of Love is the Seed, and creator of the Divine Reset Experience, combines soul-nourishing affirmations with the calming mandala designs, each page offering a moment to breathe, let go, and return to peace. Purchase your copy today at stressreliefmandalabook.com and receive a free stress relief meditation and affirmation gift set with your purchase. Give yourself or someone you love a simple, beautiful way to relax, reset, and reconnect.
You're listening to Inspired Conversations. Thanks for circling up with us today. So, Joan, I thank you so much for just giving me something. I love that thing all the way from the head to the tail, just trying to just clear what is going on. And I will talk to my grandson about the Cairo too.
yeah.
So you've been doing this a long time. So I bet you got some great stories from the field about transformations and different animals. Would you like to share one?
I would. I have one that's kind of a favorite. So this is in about 2005, 2006. I had a little, I don't do it so much anymore, but I used to bring in horses and sometimes dogs and work on them long term, doing energy healing and working with the chakras. And so I had a horse that was brought into my place. I guess this is about the time my first book came out, 2007. And I had, and by the way, I have a cat on my lap who's decided to join the show. So,
Oh, that's good. That's fun.
um, Anyway, so I brought this horse in, or this woman brought this horse in, and the horse had asthma, and asthma so bad that I was told that they either had to euthanize the horse because this was in the Seattle area and it was very, it can be very damp, it's very humid, or move the horse to Arizona. And the woman was obviously not going to be moving the horse, so she would be retiring the horse in Arizona. And this was a horse that she had bred. I mean, it was like her baby. And the horse at this time was about 21, which now people are going to think, is that old for a horse? It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And so this horse, other than the asthma, could have seemed very youthful. I mean, it was very agile still and very present. So anyway, when she brought the horse to me and I was starting to do the energy technique that I do called the scalar wave, I noticed, so you would think that the lungs, right, asthma, you would think that this was a fourth chakra, that I'd really have to spend some time in the fourth chakra. But that wasn't the chakra that was out of whack, right? It was the second chakra. So I just was not making sense. The shape, the size, the whole thing. And so after I got done working on the horse for the first time, and I had communicated with this horse, because that's always my primary thing, I said, I need to do another communication because I feel like there's something going on in the second chakra. And I wondered at that point about relationship, right? What is going on in relationship to each other, because I knew they loved each other, they were soulmates. But the horse told me that the woman was not spending as much time with her because she had another horse. I didn't know she had another horse, but the other horse was not where she lived. Like this horse's name was Latte. Latte lived in the backyard, but now this woman was not trail riding her so much because she was with the other horse. And so I said to the woman, I said, Pam, this Latte is talking about another horse that you're spending more time with. And Pam said, yes, my daughter, I've invested, it's not a horse that I ride, but I've invested in a very fancy show horse for my daughter. And we're off at horse shows every weekend. And so I realized that it was the asthma and the grief was not lodged sitting there in that heart center. It was really sitting, it was it was showing up in the physical form of the second chakra not being balanced. And so we did EFT. We started working on the relationship and finding ways for her to spend more time with Latte, even though she was still going to go watch her daughter and the horse that she called her grandson. Um, and anyway, the next day, people that were coming, at that point, I was boarding horses at my facility. I don't do that anymore. But the people that came to see their own horses were like, "Oh, who's this new horse, Pam?" And it wasn't a new horse at all. It was Latte, but Latte literally like lost 10 years in being able to tell that story. And the asthma cleared up. She lived another 7, 8 years.
Oh my God, that is so amazing, because she would never have known, the woman would never have known. Really, the horse was grieving the loss of the relationship. That's what I felt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so the grief was showing up in the lungs for the asthma. That is magical. It's magical that what I love is your connection with the animals, to be able to trust the conversation you're having, right? Like you've honed your skills that there's never any doubt what you're hearing.
No, and it's important for people to really learn that through practice you can really trust yourself. Like I'm not special. I mean, I have some talents, but know,
But I know what you mean. Like, this is something possible for all of us because that's how we're wired. We've just forgotten it, correct?
absolutely 100%. The minute we learned language, we forgot about telepathy.
Yeah, because one of the things I used to, like now everything I do, I just follow. I call it soul's whispers, but it's intuition. But I remember learning to learning to trust it because it's like, oh, is that wishful thinking? Why did that thought come in about that idea? And now I go, thank you, divine, thank you,
Yeah,
because I tell people they're like, oh, I'm not intuitive like you. I go, darling, we're all intuitive. We've just forgotten. All you have to do is remember and say yes. And that's what I'm hearing in the work that you do is, yes, you're working with animals, but you also are here to remind us humans that we have the capability of deeply connecting on a spiritual and a energetic level with our pets.
100%. And I always say to my students, like, you don't be learning animal communication if you think that you don't like people, because people are who help animals. Like, we have to have a great love and respect for everybody.
Oh, so true. That's a great point. And before our final break, I wanted to ask you is this is going to be such a funny story. When I got that Cocker Spaniel, I was in a different point in my life. You're going back like probably 30 years. I was going 100 miles an hour. It was my first business. I was working 14-hour days. I was living on 3 medium iced coffees a day. Yes, highly successful entrepreneur, but I was not balanced. And I get this beautiful 8-week-old Cocker Spaniel. And then I met my honey 2 years later. So we've been together, 30 years. That dog at the beginning was such a spaz. And that's the best way I can describe it. And Dana, my honey, would say, babe, your mind and your energy is going 100 miles an hour. He doesn't understand it. He's mirroring you. And I used to go, what? What are you talking about? And then as I did my inner work and became more grounded and etc., I watched that dog change from year 8 to 16 because we had him that long. So that's what I wanted to talk about. They mirror us, don't they? Because I can still remember watching him shift. I'm like, oh my God, he shifted with me, became mellow, grounded, loving. So they're that attuned to us.
They're that attuned. I like to say that I do think they mirror, but I also say they're actually first responders, right? Like, when you're in that, like, 100 miles an hour and ice, 5 iced lattes, yeah, they're gonna be like, okay, what do I do now? Because they're constantly tracking, like they would track each other in a pack, a herd, a pride, a flock, right? They're tracking that leader, and if the leader's off, then they're gonna unless you've got a true Yoda, they're gonna definitely respond and mirror.
He did. He would respond, that poor guy. And I'm so grateful I did my inner work. So his last 8 years were just zen and peaceful as I was. But that's when I really got it that we need to be aligned and tuned into our own energy because our energy not only affects every human in our life, but it also affects our pets.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a final break. And when we come back, let's dive even deeper into this. And if you have a simple technique you can share for someone that, even if they don't understand the chakras fully, that they can work with their pet. So we'll be back in a moment, my friends. I'm with Joan Ranquet of joanranquet.com. The links are below in the show notes. Grab her most recent book, Animal Chakra Healing. We'll be right back.
Are you struggling to grow your mission-driven business in a way that feeds your soul and fulfills your purpose? When you discover your unique human design and divine blueprint, you'll feel empowered in your business, aligned with your inner wisdom, and open to the flow of abundance and success. Nancy O'Keefe is a certified human design specialist and intuitive business coach, successfully coaching entrepreneurs for over 25 years. She is passionate about helping you understand your divine design and your personal formula for success. She knows what it takes after creating her own multi-7-figure firm. Nancy helps women peel back the layers of who they've been taught to be to reveal who they truly are so they can build an abundant and sustainable business that feeds their soul. Schedule your complimentary call today at nancyo'keefecoaching.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm so glad that you're here with us. I can't believe this show is about to celebrate 10 years. So I want to say thank you. Whether this is the first episode you've listened to or you've been with us on the journey, I appreciate you. So, Joan, in our final segment, is there any simple techniques you can share that someone can work with on their pet, even if they don't currently understand the chakra system?
Absolutely. I love to say that you can even do just a little chakra massage coming along like at the base of the spine and just doing little circles that are clockwise and then coming up to the sacrum. One of my dogs just came and volunteered. So I'm doing it on her right now. Come up to the sacrum and then move up to the third chakra, which is in the center of their back, and then moving up to, doing little circular massage on the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the withers, and then I like to just stroke on the throat area, and then you can do just little mini circles on that third eye, and then a great final on the top of their head. And now, of course, my dog is so stimulated, she went over to go play with the other dog. Usually it calms them, this one's a puppy.
How many pets do you have?
I have 4 horses, 3 dogs, and 3 cats.
Oh, you're so blessed.
I am. And when I'm usually on Zoom teaching in the afternoon, okay, you guys, I'm on a show. Shh. They're they're gonna go at it. So we're getting the full play. But anyway, um, they can be like everybody's just laying around in the afternoon when I'm teaching, so it's great.
I love that. And I wanted to talk a bit too, because I want to let everyone know you also offer online and in-person training. And you founded Communication with All Life University, which is where the trainings come through in animal communication, energy healing, wildlife nature connection. So for those who may be like, ooh, tell them a little more about that.
So I love to say that I help empathic people who feel like they're overly sensitive to animals transform that too sensitiveness into a superpower so that they're able to go help animals in shelters or one-on-one sessions. So I help people learn animal communication or become an animal communicator. And we have an animal communication track. We have an energy healing for animals track. We have a animals in transition track, kind of like from death doula to medium. And then we have an animal ambassador program for working with animals in the shelter. And then I take people on wildlife trips.
Oh my God, that is amazing. And I love that it's with empathic people, because I'm thinking of my granddaughter who's 14 and so deeply empathic, all the way down to bees, bugs, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I can remember she was 4 years old, and you know the dandelions and you blow them.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to her, you can make a wish. And at first, of course, she wanted to tell me what the wish was. I
Mm.
I said, you can tell me if you want. You don't have to. And she said, I will tell you. She goes, I wish I could hear everything the animals were saying so I know what they need. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, I have a picture still from that day, because the innocence of her blowing that flower. And then once she told me the wish, I was like, oh my God, because she was just so deeply connected. So I love that you have these offerings. And I also want to talk about your TEDx talk, The Rainbow Bridge, Animals in Transition, has hundreds of thousands of views. That is amazing. So I want,
yeah.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. It really strikes a nerve with people, right? Like that. I think more and more it's more common, but when I did that, I guess it's almost 10 years now, but when I first got started in this world, and you've been a pioneer too. Not everybody felt comfortable sharing that they lost their animal. It'd be one thing if you lose a family member, but you know, to grieve that hard over animals didn't make sense to a lot of people. And so there was shame around it. And I think that the talk really just gives people permission to just feel that deeply and express that they're at a loss because of the loss of their animal.
Oh, yeah, especially for those of us who feel deeply. I mean, losing my Cocker Spaniel, as well as a cat after 22 years, it was devastating. There was deep grief. I mean, it's like they are part of our family. So if you're wired that way, it was a deep loss. Um,
Yeah.
and I also want to share, you've been in major media, Dateline NBC, Good Morning America, Animal Planet, Today's Show. And what I love about that is it's opening up so many more to this whole topic of pets, energy, the chakras, so that we can start relating with our pets in a different way, not as belongings, but as energetic spiritual beings, which they are to me.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny because I've been so lucky. I also, this last year, there's a new, I went to a college where there's an equestrian department. And so I've gone back and taught animal communication and EFT. And now animal communication and EFT is part of their new animal behavior degree. So I'm even getting it into an academic setting. And to me, it's like you know, my service on the planet is here to help animals, people, and the planet. But part of that is making animal communication normal. Let's just make it normal.
Yes, not something outside ourselves, so something to be judged. And something else just came to me as you were speaking. It's like this is your legacy, right?
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you have, this um, school offering it. That means a whole new generation
Yeah.
going to be coming through. I mean, that has to feel so fulfilling to know that your work has created a ripple effect in not only other humans' lives, but look at all the pets who are being transformed through the work that you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. Sometimes I'm just so in what I'm doing that I forget that it's big, but it is big.
It is big. You've been doing this for decades, and like all I kept seeing was legacy, and I could just see this ripple, ripple, ripple getting bigger and bigger. But that's what we need because so many are so disconnected from their own energy and spirituality. They see animals as belongings,
Yeah.
and I've had family members like that. And I'm like, how can you look into any animal's eyes and not see their essence? Right? Like that's my personal belief. Like I can feel the love. They just want love. They just want to be loved. That's the only word I can say. Like Murphy, no matter what that my grandson's dog has gone through, this dog just radiates love. Anyone that meets him, and I look in his eyes going, he just wants that connection with people. They're no different than us when you think of it. Isn't that what we yearn for? Love, connection, belonging, like you said, trust, safety.
Yeah. Connection.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like that. Every morning he comes down, he looks for me, then he looks for Papa, and he does his little morning hellos, and then he looks at me like, okay, your turn, take me out now. So
Hmm.
I do the morning patrol. Um, Joan, it's been such joy. We could keep going on and on with this. I want to invite everyone to learn more about Joan and her work at joanranquet.com. Again, show notes, get the link, um, grab a copy of her book, Animal Chakra Healing, and check out the other ones, is the one on EFT, etc. So we have about a minute. Is there a closing message or piece of inspiration or additional wisdom you would like to share with our listeners?
The only thing I can say is that it just remain open to the idea that you're already communicating with animals. You're already connected. And it's like when you can just kind of sit, take a breath and sit in that trust, the world opens up.
Oh, beautifully said, my friend. Beautifully said. Again, everyone, Joan Ranquet, joanranquet.com. Be sure to check out her services, learn more about her trainings, books, and any upcoming events that she may have. And until next time, my friends, choose love, choose joy, choose happiness. Blessings, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.